Hi, and welcome back. If your gut is off, your immune system is not going to feel stable. And most people don't realize how connected your gut is to the immune system. If you have been diagnosed with an autoimmune disease, then it's highly likely that you do have a gut issue going on. And we already know you have an immune system issue going on because that's the definition of autoimmune, right? So if we're not thinking about that, we need to tune in. Digestion's one thing, immune system is something completely separate. But most of our immune system, 72 or 73%, lies in the gut. So it's so important that we have the gut under control. So your microbiome includes all of the living species in your gut, which sounds weird. We call them bugs, bacteria, but it's really we have viruses. We have good quote guys, bad quote guys, good and bad, right, in the gut. And there's a good balance. And there's even archaea, viruses, pathogens, things like that. And we have to keep them in balance. We don't want to get rid of some because it throws off the balance of others. Like, why can't we just get rid of all the harmful things and just have the good ones? Well, as I learned in Costa Rica this last week, even mosquitoes have a purpose. Did you know cacao beans rely on mosquitoes for pollination? I think that must be why I'm a mosquito magnet because not many people eat as much chocolate as I do. Cacao, I eat the raw cacao, very bitter. Not everyone likes it, but I love it. So, tangent, we are focusing on ways to enhance our immune system, bring it back into balance, especially if we have autoimmune disease. And your digestion is controlling and communicating with your immune system to help bring it into balance. It helps your body decide, is this safe? Am I in danger? Do I need to react to something? Do I tolerate this? Do I not tolerate this? What do I do with what I've just been exposed to? When it's confused, when it's disrupted, that's when we get overreactive. That's when we have autoimmune disease. So there are a few big things that I see over and over. One is repeated antibiotics. Growing up as a kid, how often did you have antibiotics? I had them all the time, right? I remember going in the refrigerator and drinking that pink bottle. I thought it tasted delicious. Not everybody did, but I had strep throat quite a few times. I'd have ear infections, different things like that. And once I got a little bit older, I didn't have as antibiotics as much, but even with my first pregnancy, I was on antibiotics during delivery, and so was my baby. And so there's things like that. So how often were you exposed to antibiotics? Because every time you were, it killed off the beneficial bacteria, the beneficial microbes in your gut every single time. And then if we throw in foods that you're exposed to, high stress, ultra processed foods, not eating enough fiber, having an overly restricted diet, under eating, all of those things disrupt the microbiome. They kill off the good bugs, good guys, good bacteria that we need in our gut to be healthy and to maintain a strong intestinal lining. And so we don't think about that. But stress, food, like definitely eaten my share of ultra processed foods. Not in the last 10 years, but the first 44 years of my life, I ate foods that were not good and healthy for me, right? And so we have to remember when we go back, so it's been 10 years. I've been eating really healthy for 10 years, but I have to make up for 44 years of antibiotics and harmful things. It's not going to be fixed overnight. It's going to take a little while. If we over restrict our foods and for a long time, we're removing too many foods, then we're reducing diversity in the gut. And all those beneficial microbes rely on different nutrients from different fruits and vegetables, from different fibers. Remember, fibers only come from plant foods. We don't get fiber from animal products. So we have to eat lots of different fruits, vegetables, grains, seeds, any of those plant foods, lots of different ones to feed the beneficial microbes, even mushrooms, onions, garlic. Those are wonderful for those microbes, but we need a lot of diversity. When we have a lot of diversity, we have a lot of different microbes that appear. If you've ever gardened, so I live on a regenerative farm that focuses on diversity in the soil. When we do that, that regulates inflammation, it strengthens the plants, it strengthens our microbiome, it supports immune tolerance, so the plants are better able to tolerate pests and bugs, and so are we. When we focus on increasing diversity in our own microbiome, we produce short chain fatty acids. So these are things that our body produces itself inside the gut from the plant foods that we eat that helps to establish a coating along the intestines so that we have strong integrity of the lining there so that pathogens don't get through the lining, so that food particles and proteins that aren't supposed to get in the bloodstream, they stay in the digestive tract where they're supposed to be. And it also keeps that coating nice and thick to protect the body and to feed those microbes and strengthen the gut lining as well. So if we don't eat enough food because we're calorie restricting, because we were taught, if you're my age, around my age, you were taught at a very early age, I remember like 8 or 9, that you need to exercise more and eat less. And so when I meet with clients, they've been eating like 800 calories for years. And I'm like, what? You need at least 1,200 calories. We need to look, but at least 1,200. Please don't eat less than 1,200 calories. But we need more than that if you want to maintain bones and muscles. And so that's so important, not only for diversity, but for your bones, your muscles, your heart, and all those things. And so we have to retrain our brain and realize that that's not working. If you're still overweight and you've been eating 800 calories for the last 20 years, I've got something to tell you. It's not because you're under eating, right? We need to focus on eating and letting your body feel safe. Anyway, another tangent. So when we don't have diversity, we're not eating enough, we're under eating, we're not eating enough variety, then we're more sensitive to the foods we are eating, and then we're more easily triggered. If you've ever done a food sensitivity panel and it came back that you're sensitive to everything you eat, guess what? You have something going on in your gut, maybe leaky gut, something like that. So of course, you're reacting to everything that you eat. So you need to eat all these other foods, but you need to rotate all these foods because if you don't, the next time you do a food sensitivity panel, you're going to be sensitive to all those foods. You've got to help heal the lining by increasing diversity, working with someone who can help you do that in a safe manner to build up the gut as well, because you already have gut damage in that case. So we don't want to make things complicated. Let's make it as easy as possible. That's what I'm all about. First, increase plant diversity. Look, when you're in the grocery store, when you're in the farmer's market, if you use a grocery list, do you have a lot of different plants on there? I know for years and years, after I got my master's in health science, I knew we needed to eat 5 a day, right? So that was usually a banana, an orange, and an apple. Those were my 3 fruits. And then maybe we'd have a salad with something and some green beans. That's 5 a day. Well, guess what? That is the minimum just to survive. That is not going to help you thrive. That's not going to provide all the nutrients and minerals that your body needs. 5 a day sucks. We need to eat a lot more than 5 a day, maybe 5 at every meal. But it can't just be the apple, orange, and banana. We need to focus on all sorts of different fruits and all sorts of different vegetables. It can't just be an iceberg lettuce salad with lettuce and tomato for your vegetables for today. Well, first of all, tomatoes and cucumbers are not vegetables, but that's a different story. But we need to have lots of different plant foods. Put a lot of different things on your salad. Make your own little salad bar. Think about the best salad bar you've ever been to that had, olives and carrots and zucchini and green peas and avocado and radishes and, all these different things, celery, whatever. Make your own in your refrigerator so that every day you can just kind of make your own salad bar or put it all in one giant bowl and mix it up and you can add different dressings to add more variety. We need to have more fiber, which guess what comes in plants. We need at least 25 to 35 grams of fiber a day, minimally to survive, minimally for our microbiome. That's minimal. Unfortunately, only 5% of Americans meet that fiber need, which is completely ridiculous because I can get 25 in my breakfast. And so it's easy to do, but you don't want to jump from not eating enough fiber to 75 grams of fiber a day. That will give you you'll either be super constipated or you'll be running to the bathroom nonstop. So also gradually increase that. Work with someone who can help you gradually increase your fiber, increasing that variety as well. So when you're thinking about your meals, think about greens. If you didn't listen to the last video that I recorded, it was all about bitter greens, spring greens, and the importance of those greens this time of year. Think about increasing your vegetables and think about berries, reds, blues. How can you add more of those colors to your plate? Beans. People avoid beans because of carbs, but there's so many nutrients from beta glucans to B vitamins, high in fiber, wonderful for the intestinal lining. Lentils, beans, all those varieties. And then your herbs, fresh herbs, wonderful this time of year. Dill, parsley, cilantro. Add them as often as you can. Even your dandelion greens, any other greens you can find out in your garden. And then fermented foods. I fell in love recently with a sauerkraut that was horseradish dill sauerkraut. Absolutely amazing. Find a fermented food that you like. Maybe it's your homemade yogurt. I make that too. It's super, super easy. The ways to add fiber and fermented foods are wonderful for your microbiome. So you don't have to force yourself to eat 30 different foods a day, but gradually work your way up to that. And then it gets easier and easier. Once you do it once or twice, this week and next week and start changing things up, you don't have to rely on bottles and bottles and bottles of different supplements. You can get them from your foods. I much prefer that you get them from your foods, and I'd love to help you with that as well. So if your gut feels off, your immune system will be too. The good news is there's something you can do with that, and that is supporting it with your food. So if you'd like to learn more, check out Culinary Healing Circle. That's my membership, and that's where we focus on foods and working on the gut and immune health. We focus on building a strong, diverse microbiome through real meals that are easy to make. Check out culinaryhealingcircle.com, and I hope to see you there. Thank you for joining me today.